I'm back. Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Ray Reviews, where I, Ray, will break down comic books, movies, TV shows, video games, and everything in between. So I know what you're all thinking. Ray, where the hell were you? You posted like one video and you disappeared. And you're right. I only did post one video and I did disappear. I'm sorry guys. I really wasn't taking this as seriously as I needed to. And that's going to change. I'm going to put more content out there and give you the chance to love me like I love you guys. So, if you're still with me, hang in there because things are going to change. So, today's episode, we're going to be talking about the newly released Craft Legacy. Now, this is a follow up to the original Craft that came out in the 1990s. Classic movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It's pretty good. Also, fun fact, it was the first movie that Neve Campbell and Skirt Ulrich did before Scream. So, if you didn't know, now you know. So, this movie was pretty much very similar to The Craft. I know it's a sequel, so it's bound to happen. But it was a little too similar. So, we start off the movie with our main character, don't know her name, not really important. But she's traveling to a new town, very similar to the first, and she has a new family. She's not really bonding with them. We're going to talk about that a little later. She goes to high school. She gets bullied by a dude. I don't know what it is about these movies, but like dudes bully girls. I feel like I just never seen that. I've only seen like same sex gendering. I mean same sex bullying. Weird. Anyway, yeah, I've only seen like girls bully girls and guys bully guys. But I guess in this universe it can happen either way. So mind blown. But no, she gets bullied and she finds comfort hanging out with these three. I wouldn't say they're weirdos. Like in the original, they were weirdos. No one wants to talk to these people. But I would say like they're like the quirky arts kids that would hang out in that like art table in the Mean Girls cafeteria. Like they're those kind of people. I wouldn't say like, oh my god, I wouldn't hang out with them. Like there was no Nancy of that group. Like Nancy, I feel like in the original really turned off a lot of people. So like they're like, oof, we need to stay away from them. But like in this one, they're all like normal girls. So there was also that. Yeah, so she starts hanging out with these girls, and of course, just like the original, the new girl has way more power than everyone else, so they finally get to start doing some cool stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, this movie wasn't bad. However, it wasn't great. On to what I liked about the film. This They did a lot, honestly. It was a pretty good, strong film. I'm not gonna lie. The first two halves of this movie were great. I like the characters. I like the acting. Everyone did like a stellar performance. I feel like the only characters and like the only people I didn't really feel for were the ones that weren't dealt with. But we're gonna talk about that. I liked how the twists were a little bit modern. Like the bully. So in the original film, because the guy bullies the main girl, similar to this one, she goes and she puts a spell, but in the original, it's to make him love her. I don't know why, but yeah, he falls in love, and it kind of like takes a rapey turn. Trigger warning. Um, and in this film, I guess they kind of like just made him woke, which was, I mean, it was a little bit corny. I'm not gonna lie, but it was different, and I appreciated that they took that leap. And in turn, they made the character a little less weird. Like you actually genuinely cared for this character. You're like, oh wow. And then they have like this whole secret, and they're like, oh my god, that's so cool. But it was cool. I liked that they took some liberties. I also liked how they had little Easter eggs for all the stuff in the original. Like they had the light as a feather scene that they did, and they did all the circles, and that was cool. It was nice. Um, but yeah, I think that's the end of it for what I liked about this film. Like there was a lot there, but I just feel like the cons outweigh the positives. You know what I mean? Now on to the ugly part of the review. I gotta say, this movie was good. However, I keep saying that. I keep saying this movie's good. Um, I just feel like the ending and like some minor details really brought this movie down. So for starters, let's talk about the stepdad in this movie. The stepdad is played by, forget his name, but he's a dude from the X-Files. Keep that in mind. And he like comes off, he's like really nice at first, and then I don't know, this girl defends herself and he just comes at her really weird, and you're like, oh, that's weird. That's suspicious. TikTok. But no, eventually like he just starts being a dick, and you're like, oh, well, what if he's actually this thing? And you're like, I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it, but yeah, you're like, whoa, wouldn't that be crazy? And then it actually does happen, but the way that they write it, it's like, oh, well, that was just boring. It sucks. Like, you could have done a way better job of that. But the real issue I had with this film was I just felt like it was clustered with characters. Like, this guy has 3 sons. And honestly, it was like halfway through the film that I realized he had 3 sons. Like, none of the sons did anything for the plot. Like, one son was just a horn dog. Every time we seen his character, he was either watching porn or having sex. And that was his whole plot development. Like, it was just there. That's it. The other son didn't do anything. And I was like, ooh, it'd be really cool if like he's really like quiet or reserved, and then at the end he gets really explosive. Like, that would be so cool. Didn't happen. This dude was a freaking mute for just no apparent reason. So I was a little bummed about that. And the other character just honestly, he was there for like 2 scenes. I felt like someone wrote the script and someone was like, hey, he can't have 2 sons. He needs to have 3. And they're like, oh, all right. We're just going to have a 3rd son just not be around. So in the end, Craft Legacy, was it good? Was it bad? And the answer is a little bit of both. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would give it like a 4, maybe a 4.5 if I'm being generous. Like, it didn't ruin the franchise. I mean, I definitely feel like the whole series didn't need to be a franchise. Just could have just left the first one. But like, it was a cool addition to it. And it just wasn't horrible. Like, you're not going to sit there and be like, oh my God, this is the worst movie ever. No, it's not it. You're going to start off and you're going to be like, wow, this is actually pretty cool. And then closer to the end, you're going to be like, so that's the route you chose to take. Interesting choice. I wouldn't have done it, but I didn't write the film. But no, this movie was okay. Like, I definitely feel like it has some background material. Like, if you're doing some laundry and you just need something in the background just to like occasionally watch, this would be your film. Or if you just have anything, like you're on Zoom class and you're just bored, just pop this movie in, just be like, wow. Even for just the little special effects, it's fun. But no, more importantly though, like and subscribe to this page and check out the film. It's not bad, it's not great. But no, thanks guys, and I promise I'm going to have more content coming soon.